Thank you. Good evening, everybody. This is Ankit this side. We just wanted to get started with our webinar today. I promise that it'll be really nice and action-packed. Just to quickly introduce the people that will be speaking with you today, that will be Rajneesh Sharma. Thanks, Rajneesh, upfront
Hey
for
everyone.
joining us. Rajneesh joins us from Google Cloud. He's been with Google for over 4 years. In his past avatars, he was a veteran at Microsoft, and he now leads the South Asia workspace business for all our strategic accounts across. Myself, I am Ankit Sinha. I am the vice president here for the consulting teams at Sears. And together, what we would really like to do is to engage with you. We will try to talk about how we are launching Google Workspace in India for all our strategic accounts, all our important accounts. I'm sure there'll be a lot of new and interesting things for you. There will be a lot of questions. We definitely will take a few questions at the end as well. There's a link at the top. My team will put that link on the chat as well. If you can just list all the questions there, it'll be a nice way for us to take the question and answers at the end. I did realize that I was speaking on mute when the session started, but general housekeeping rules, please do keep yourself on the mute so that there is very little disturbance coming from the participants' side. The session is expected to last roughly an hour. We will definitely have 10 minutes for the questions at the end. With that, I would probably think it's a good time for me to just lay out what might be the top agenda items for us today. We clearly know that the world went out of office, all the puns intended. And Rajneesh will talk about how, with the changing landscape, as how work was transforming across different industries in almost all corners of the world. Why did Google bring Workspace for us, and how it kind of advances the vision that G Suite had. I'll take up after that what it means for you as a customers. What does it mean for the IT staff? What it means for the executives? What it means for the users? We will definitely take that in great detail today. We would definitely try to see how we can engage meaningfully through the coming weeks as we go towards the last quarter of this last end of this year, and hopefully as the lockdowns begin to open up again. As I said, we'll keep the last few minutes for questions. And Rajneesh is representing CS for us, Google for us today, so he definitely will be very, very happy to get feedback so that he can roll back the feedback to the product management teams as well. With that, I'll probably just request Rajneesh to kind of kick things. Rajneesh, I'll be moving the slides for you. If you could probably just, if you wanted to introduce yourself again, but otherwise over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ankit, for giving me this opportunity. And thanks to all of you. You took out your time and you are going to attend this webinar. As outlined by Ankit, our objective is to give you a front seat kind of view on what's happening on Google Workspace, erstwhile Google G Suite. You have been using the product, you are familiar with the features, but there are a lot of exciting things which Ankit will be discussing today. So I will kickstart my side of the conversation. So pandemic that we faced and we are still facing has been extremely painful to all of us, from lockdowns to disruptions of all sorts, layoffs in many unfortunate places, and all kind of challenges which IT teams went through and are still going through. But what we have realized with this pandemic is that Google G Suite was absolutely the right tool built for the cloud, and it allowed organizations to work in this environment where we were. So this allowed all of us to work efficiently, irrespective of whether we were in Nagpur or Allahabad, or we were in Chennai or Bangalore. We continued producing results for our respective organizations, all thanks to the the way Google G Suite was built. To give you a perspective, we saw something like a 45% increase in the Meet adoption in the last 3-4 months, and it is still continue to grow. Same with the chat adoption; it went to as high as 60-65% across organizations, and we continue to see that organizations find great momentum in using Google G Suite tools. And what differentiated Google products from many other competitors was that Meet was easy to set up, easy to run on a phone, easy to run on a laptop. So we saw a lot more video calls compared to audio only calls over these apps. So I think those things facilitated business, facilitated that human connection, which is so integral to our culture. We Indians are slightly different. Maybe South Asians are different from others in the sense that we want to see the person, and if we don't see the person, we can't conduct business. So I think G Suite was absolutely right thing, and I would say that collectively we made the right decision. So you guys were on the right track, and because of that, the business disruption because of the tool side was to the minimum. Next slide, please. So Google continues to believe in making sure that we create great tools, flexible tools, which are easy to use, which are intuitively designed, and they are helpful. And in that regard, you would continue to see a lot of innovations coming your way. Some are related with Meet, some are related with other products, and you would see a lot of aid coming via machine learning and other technologies, which probably some part of it would be touched by Ankit in subsequent slides. So introducing the new Google G Suite for you, which is called Workspace. It's not only the branding change, but a lot of capabilities addition that's happening on various aspects of workflows creations, approval workflows, to app creations in a no-code environment, to things that we are doing intelligently with Meet quality. So there is a lot of excitement coming to you in this new branding exercise, and obviously a new look, new I would say product. How should I say, positioning to help you pick up the right SKU for the right side, right kind of employee needs. So instead of one size fits all, you would have a lot more choice to available to you, which is a very exciting thing. So essentially, G Suite was always great with collaboration. It was never an experience, never an issue. The overall feel and look was intuitively designed. It was very easy to use. Never any issues with that. But we are going to stress a lot of emphasis on frontline workers, ensuring that your overall experience improves significantly. And in that way, Ankit will cover some things, and maybe we can take some Q&A also towards the end. So these are some of the things that are going to be our focus areas. So we'll play some video.
Let's get started. Can we make that orange? Great, there we go. Okay, what do you think, Steve? Steve?
I'm sure you will continue to see a better video version of this video on YouTube and many other platforms. Don't be surprised. We are the first one to show it to you. And maybe we will share a link with you also so that you can go through it on your own whenever you get the time. So G Suite and now Google Workspace is built on the same strengths that Google always had. It's probably world's best in class public infrastructure, public cloud. We provide 99.9% uptime. And our use of machine learning is, I would say, is at an unprecedented scale. You are already aware of that Google is the first company to theoretically and in some ways practically build a quantum computer. So we are far ahead from a technology curve perspective, and we want to ensure that our customers get best-in-class experience. We have zero phishing attacks if you use hardware keys alongside your G Suite accounts. And we are very proud of the fact that now G Suite users are more than 2 billion. Google Gmail users are more than 2 billion, and more than 6.5 million businesses worldwide subscribe to Google G Suite. And we will continue to build on this momentum that has come our way. This next one. A few other facts. We will be carbon free by 2030. We have zero net emissions. We use a lot less energy than many of our counterparts. Towards environment, many of us are aware of how horrible it is in Delhi NCR these days, with the pollution levels for PM 2.5 touching 400 level or 350, 400 levels. So our commitment to green energy and green computing is far ahead of anybody else in the industry. And you would continue to see that we would make many great strides in this era also, which is extremely important for not only us, but for even coming generations also. Just wanted to reiterate that even the new data center that Google is building all over, we are ensuring that we use as much as recyclable, renewable energy, whether it's the wind, whether it is the cold water generated in some river systems. And we are probably one of the first ones to come up with some very new kind of solutions on this aspect. Some other companies are now following suit, and if the more energy consumption we do with renewable energy sources, the better it is for the entire planet. Coming back to our core discussion, which is Google Workspace. So Workspace is not only going to be a branding exercise, but many features which you saw were made available to most of the G Suite customers, like meeting recording and then live streaming, are going mainstream, and a lot of SKUs are available now, which would make it possible for customers to subscribe for meeting recording features or things like live streaming. And some of these things have become kind of mainstay. I know even manufacturing companies today who are doing multiple live streaming events where CEOs or CEOs want to reach out to different kind of audiences and kind of relay what organization is trying to do, what is the future vision. I think it is extremely helpful. If you haven't tried live streaming earlier, let us know. We can help you out, set up some trial licenses, and you can try at your end. If not, even meeting recording. So in many companies, I know as a fact that HR departments are now doing mandatory video recording of all interviews. So there are a lot of exciting things that are happening. So I would leave you with the three core ideas behind New Workspace. We'll discuss many more things, but these are the three core ideas. It's a very can we go back? Yeah. It's a new, deeply integrated product experience. You would be able to chat just out of your Gmail. Even on phone, you have to use very minimal number of text to go from one app to another, whether it is Meet or chat. You will see this integration happening all across. A new brand identity, which basically talks about our product vision, and a new ways to get started with solutions tailored to our customers' unique needs. And from this, over to you, Ankit, and you can take the rest of the slides.
What we wanted to ensure is that we are able to cover what's new and interesting, how some of our customers that we work with very closely have started applying these features across different applications, across the different administrative console features for us. Some of the larger companies, let's say a PwC that went live with G Suite, as it used to be called, with 275,000 people globally. The statistics there is around 10 million hours of Google Meet in a single month is what they're averaging. In fact, I guess all of us are also tired about the number of Google Meets that we need to do, but that's how I guess life's gonna be. A lot of organizations in India and across the world are also trying to use Google Workspace now, as it is called, in new and interesting ways. This could be around how to deliver customer experiences for a live stream, for a showroom experience, because people would not be interested in visiting perhaps a car showroom for Kia Motors. So what is beginning to happen is that the new use cases are being identified apart from the traditional ones. My assumption that I'm making here is everybody was a power user. The people that are actually in the session today have used Workspace. It could be different editions of G Suite in the past, basic edition, business edition, but you've kind of used it. And now what we'll do is have a very, very quick rapid fire. I don't know how much time, probably 20 minutes, 20 key features that we would just like to add. You should probably keep note of things which are interesting to you. Our teams would definitely want to figure out, discover your areas of interest and pursue them further. It will largely be in three sections. The first one will be, what does the CXO, who is in charge of the overall organizational productivity and the business metrics, what does he expect or what does she expect? The second one would be tech simplification. We are very, very concerned about how people have different kinds of applications that emerge out of nowhere and that kind of complicates our tech landscape. How can we simplify that to save costs? Because I know at this point of time, everyone is trying to ensure that there is no wastage of any kind. And the third thing is, people are sitting in remote corners today. How can we ensure that there is user productivity? Very, very quickly, and I promise you these will be the last two slides which kind of talk about numbers and the overall context. After that, we kind of jump into the product. We clearly notice that companies that are choosing actively to go and to use Google Workspace and not choose any of the older defaults, they're doing it for a reason and they're happier with their choices. It reflects in how easy people are even getting onboarded in companies which are using Google Workspace, for example, versus how complicated life can be when you have to onboard somebody and install software for them without really actually delivering a device to them. And the second piece is that, yes, the return of investments on these applications is actually going up. I remember a time where in India, the calendar usage was less than 3%, because Rajneesh was alluding to it. We had a lot of very informal way of getting into meetings and conversations. Today, the calendar usage is obviously close to what the Gmail usage is, simply because if you do not plan, you cannot probably even meet people easily. At CS, my core mission, our core mission is to ensure that your cloud investments are working. And in the current scheme of things, we have been engaging with different customers for refresher courses for end users. At the time of implementation, probably CS team was involved closely providing training, end user training, Google courses and everything. And now we obviously want to ensure that we can do refresher courses. We want to ensure that with the Google support and the way it's changing and the way we complement on the solution support side, your administrators continue to have the confidence that, yeah, nothing's kind of changing. Managed services, end-to-end cloud managed services, how we can take care of your security and operations. That is something that we would like to understand. Let's come to some of the more tricky ones. Active Directory. Everybody felt it was a difficult beast to manage. It is perhaps time that you start looking at it in new light and prioritize these kinds of tech simplification pieces. Compliance and security scorecards. A lot of companies used to be afraid of the internet and used to be afraid, what if my people start accessing Gmail from their home networks? And we used to, we used to have conversations with a lot of people here around these topics, that okay, we can try to restrict this way, and we can try to restrict it only on a company issued device or a company network. Your security goals are still the same, just how we deliver them, that is changing. Desktop as a service, I'll come and I'll speak about it. And then also the extensibility that Rajneesh was speaking about. Workspace is a platform. Google gives some very great applications, but what we think is you will be developing even more and even more custom applications at your end. New SKUs, new APIs, new features, a lot of things are interesting, and hence we kind of demand that you spend some time with us. And I again appreciate the fact that you take this afternoon to listen to us. Now starts the rapid fire. Desktop as a service, a clear recommendation from Google Cloud is to work with a premier partner of theirs, which is building very, very GCP, Google Cloud native desktop as a service solution. Whether you wanted to provide a full desktop experience to people that are basically sitting at home, are probably buying their own devices, choosing their own devices. Anyway, you don't want to be managing those devices anymore. So what you do is you secure your Windows image and you deliver a remote desktop service on Google Cloud. You could also choose for the light users to deliver only a single or a couple of Windows application through Itopia. Great new thing. It's obviously going to use the GCP background, and what we would like to do is to talk about it, how it works. The second piece is identity, and how Google is now kind of sharing with us outside of Google the context aware access, which is trying to ensure that we can make available all the applications securely without the need of investing in virtual private networks. We do not want to have people start a VPN service today, but we would definitely want machine learning to identify which devices are secure, which users are secure, and you also then add your own very, very custom organization wide rules to ensure not just your G Suite or Google Workspace is secure, but everything that uses the Google identity, all the third-party SaaS applications, and your other resources that we can integrate also basically get delivered to people wherever they are working in a secured manner. A lot of you would already have access to context-aware rules and configuration systems if you were on the enterprise edition, and we just have to kind of come and implement it. The third piece would be, yes, managing users, managing devices, managing applications, trying to ensure that that world of mine, which was an on-prem world, which is perhaps left behind, and we have a very, very minimal workforce trying to keep every light green. We wanted to ensure that the cloud identity and the premium features are known to you. What we would definitely like to do is to get the same context-aware policies that I was talking about, to be able to do not just managing your users, but also your applications. Very interesting, and this is something that you should definitely keep a tab of, is the new Windows device management policies, which are being announced by Google. And we understand that a lot of you always started exploring Chrome devices, which were naturally integrated in the system, but now the Windows devices management consoles also pretty powerful. The mobile apps, that comes next. Always an interesting thing for people to be saying that, okay, we can provision applications. And if you see on the left hand side of my screen, there is this small little tab called the work apps tab. People would want to get all their mobile applications installed. And as an administrator, it is now easier and easier for you to actually provision all the apps of your choice onto people's phones. And the minute somebody kind of resigns from an organization, also wipe out the entire thing. This is something which has been gradually improving as an experience for somebody who probably just has 20 or 30 users to somebody who has, I mean, I think we have users that are now crossing 60,000 users in one domain. So you would also want to manage this across domains for a very, very large fleet of devices. Something which does not get discussed too often, but now as people kind of accept the new normal, it is now getting increasingly important that we start talking about transparency of really what's happening in our organization. And the initial panic was obviously to ensure that people can continue their work. And now as people get work done and they have kind of figured out their methods to be equally productive, what we want to ensure is it's still the same secure, the same confidence that I can have around where my data is flowing. And hence, what we would definitely be very, very interested in talking to you about will be the new sets of APIs which are available for us to have a lot more events tracked, a lot more applications tracked, a lot more user activity tracked. It could be user activity at your side. It could also be user activity at the Google side in case a support engineer accessed, let's say, a system to troubleshoot when you raised a ticket. A lot of this data that is now being generated as to how users are accessing your applications is going into BigQuery for people that are on, let's say, some of the more premier plans. Also, BigQuery, because it's a completely managed data warehouse, is now becoming a very, very powerful instrument for our G Suite users on the higher edition plans to start accessing truckloads of data. I mean, previously people used to feel Google Sheets is, only for light analysis. That's going to completely change for people that wanted, I mean, what 192 million rows, as you can see, right? So that is a kind of power now that is available for people without having to buy new software, without having to implement new software, without having to train people on new software, is that you just kind of have the same browser application and you are now crunching millions and millions of data sets because BigQuery has now a front end, and the front end is your familiar spreadsheets per se. I spoke about this and I cannot keep emphasizing how important this gets every single year as Google gets more fidelity with the Microsoft environment. The entire spread of Microsoft Office licenses as a percentage of your user base needs to come down. Significant efforts have been made. These are things which are as recent as probably October updates that I'm sharing with you. You have a Word document, it opens natively in the browser. The Google Docs application, as you can see in this quick screen grab, is you're able to edit things instantly without having the Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word application at your end. We are always interested in trying to see how we can run a Softwatch assessment or something as to figure out how much is your Microsoft footprint, and if we have to really cut as a percentage of our total IT spends. We definitely know that Google's made significant progress. We can actually now go ahead. There are 2.6 billion users, 2.6 billion users of Google Workspace. So firstly, a lot of your partners and vendors and customers and suppliers also perhaps already are using Google Docs. We just have to break this habit, and we're very, very committed at Sears to help you in that journey. Employee engagement, managers, vice presidents, leaders, always now very, very keen to identify where are my employees really engaging. We don't want to have any kind of PII, personally identifiable information, being misused. But what we have definitely seen is that for large organizations, Google's Work Insights console is now able to share a lot of interesting statistics as to, okay, are people really engaged in meetings? Are people working on projects? Are people on chat rooms? Where are they? How are they talking to each other? And these are all configurable rules. You define the organizational units, you define the teams, and it's a management report. Often we used to get the feedback that once a CEO decides on G Suite, he doesn't really know what's happening on the G Suite side because it just works. Frankly, these are some now management dashboards that are being built and are being available for the CEO to see, okay, I would really like to understand how my people are working. Third-party integrations. I know that's difficult to read, but I hope you can strain your eye and figure out that the identity features of Google are the most powerful play. And this is where we would want people to have the third-party integrations play a role. So as soon as this workspace dashboard kind of became live, we wanted to share this with all existing users so that you know that, okay, it's not just about Google applications, but what are the other applications that people are trying to use in your landscape. Perhaps they are accessing some of the data from the Google Drive. Perhaps they are kind of reading the contacts from your company employees contacts sheet. Let's kind of just figure out and get those insights out as well. Employee onboarding and offboarding. I will obviously like to add a very, very selfish plug here. Sears itself has a solution called Happier Work, which exactly tries to ensure that for any G Suite user, you have a HR platform that is really, really tightly integrated and manages the single source of truth, whether it be on the mobile side, whether it be on the desktop side or the browser side. What we would definitely want to do is to discuss with you that are you having a white glove deployment for your desktops? Are you having a white glove deployment for your mobile devices? White glove is zero touch, and this is what used to be ideal from an IT perspective earlier, and now it's really a simple reality. A lot of the marketplace applications, Happier Work from Sears is obviously listed on the Google's cloud marketplace, but there could be other marketplace applications as well that you might want to choose. And we can obviously we would definitely want to ensure you can compare and choose the best of the third-party applications that really work in your environment for onboarding, offboarding, and every other activity that's there. The dashboard. So now these are again a few recent announcements which have come in, and I'm halfway there, so I can probably just hope you're still following me. I do not have the access to the chat or anything at this point of time to know your feedback, but I'll assume and I'll continue to steamroll through. But data protection. DLP was a very, very critical feature as to how my company sensitive information was flowing out. People used to believe that if I lock down the devices and if I have everything working on my networks, that is how I will enforce a hard perimeter. Now the perimeter is gone. What you need to know is how is my company sensitive information probably being shared with people outside. I know that this screenshot does not do justice, but it hopefully just triggers a point for you to remember that you would definitely want to see how information rights management is working in your organization, how data protection and data loss prevention is happening. How could you take action proactively? How do you set rules so that things do not kind of leak out? And secondly, and the more important one, is that once you suspect that there has been an incident, you also have something which is called an investigation tool, so that you can triage the situation and come to some kind of a logical answer. Yeah, so it's important that you see this whole thing in one complete orchestrated flow. You want to set rules, You want to be able to identify issues as they happen. You have to have an investigation tool for triaging it. Obviously, then you also want to see all the reports for safekeeping per se. I'm sure everybody who has been active on LinkedIn has probably seen this kind of screenshots already. Um, Shifting gears slightly away from how the administrators and the IT users use, let's just spend a little bit of time in seeing how the end user is now really getting into the whole thing. People always wondered what will be the advantage of shifting something to the cloud. Why work in a browser? Yeah, if you work on the browser, you obviously get to have all these cool features. 80% of the time that we spend at office is perhaps in data cleaning, especially the people that are in the business analyst side of things. uh, Google is trying to ensure that it uses machine learning to help you clean data quickly. This is a simple example that you can see that it is doing some kind of a synonym exercise, which just helps somebody save probably 20 minutes of their day. There are hundreds of such examples being added. This is Smart Fill, which kind of identifies from the existing rows of data without you having to actually write any code, any formula as to what you might be looking for. Uh, it's interesting because if you see in this example with the zip code, there is no real definition of what zip code was when the office address was typed down. What Google really is trying to see is, okay, somebody typed down the first zip code. Probably they are looking for the last few digits there and it gets it. Please do not challenge the system to be smarter than you. So if you do not have zip codes, it will probably at this point of time not fetch from Google Maps automatically and fill the zip code. But these are early days for artificial intelligence, and this is where the systems are getting smarter to become an assistant for you. And you probably will already start seeing a lot of these autocompletes. I'm not even talking about things which have been now in existence for 2 years. These are all recent announcements. But autocomplete now on Gmail probably answers more than 12% of all. I mean, 12% of all emails are actually written by Google itself. So it's just habit changing. And this is what we kind of say that, okay, doesn't require training. The end users essentially keep benefiting. If at all one wants to communicate this within the organization and wants to have a structured program, you want to know how other companies deal with ongoing change management, we definitely are here to share some of the practices with you. I did not want to share a screenshot for AppSheets, but I definitely wanted to pick something very, very quickly on the AppSheet side, which is how AppSheets work, which is to say that next to zero code to develop new applications with citizen developers, perhaps really to solve some of the things that were second priority or third priorities in the past, which is okay. Yeah? I mean, when we used to talk to people who were buying G Suite licenses, they would always talk about their corporate stuff, their office workers. But now we understand that we have to digitize everything. And that's where things like AppSheets becomes a very, very interesting play. And we would definitely want to ensure that this acquisition that Google has made and years of the previous generation of tools which have now all been rolled into AppSheets and app scripts which use the basic scripting and coding efforts, we definitely want to ensure that you are able to look at the entire organization and which pockets are not digitized already completely. You will be hearing about this very, very soon. Google Groups is undergoing a major revamp. Interesting trivia is Google Groups is actually older than Gmail. A lot of people perhaps have kind of let it, probably people use it as delivery mailing lists. Probably some people use it as a Q&A forum. There are different use cases that we have seen with companies as to how they were using Google Groups. The dynamic groups is now at another level of automation because It allows people to be added to the groups and all much more seamlessly, again based on the intelligence that you're feeding into the Google admin console, allowing the Google groups to become much more dynamic with its membership. Increasingly, the feedback that we get from our customers is that they know lesser and lesser about what's happening in their organization. Everybody now is interacting with smaller groups. There is no cooler conversations, water cooler conversations. What we definitely would encourage is that we look at how dynamic groups need to be configured, how we fuel a little bit more energy back into the groups piece, so that knowledge flows a little more seamlessly from one department to another, from one team to another. Enough has been talked about this, enough has been written about this, enough innovation is happening just to kind of keep all of us going. I would be honest. Everybody in the video conferencing space is innovating. What we would like to ensure is that those of you who are on the G Suite licenses, you do not ever see people using any other video conferencing platform, that Google becomes your platform of choice for everybody. I mean, not just the people that are inside your organization, but also when you're having meetings outside. And it is also servicing your every need, whether it be interviews. Hundreds of companies, including ours at CS, we finished campus interviews for the people that we have to hire for around 12 campuses. Everything on Meet, not with one problem, because Meet obviously is available to everybody. So it's Meet for everyone and Meet for every use case. Things like the breakout rooms, things like the QA polls, all those things have been very interesting. We ourselves were enabling a lot of offices to put video conferencing solutions everywhere. Chromecast and Google Nest Hub Max will probably become the way people would now want to have meetings in their home. So as everybody is getting into the festive season, definitely one of the things that you might want to just buy for yourself could be a Chromecast, so that you can have meetings at the comfort of a larger screen. Yeah, because that's probably how life is. And the Google Nest Hub Max, I checked, it's not available in India yet, but it should come soon. The smaller version is in. The larger box of the Max version will also come in soon. So you can actually speak to the Google Assistant and say, join my meeting, and you will be allowed in. We are seeing very significant movement of people in refurbishing their home offices. So we just wanted to put it out there. The training programs, the HR teams, now it's kind of becoming important that they notice all the changes. Google Classroom, it was an application which was always there with the education version, and it's obviously now available to people in the business versions as well. And with breakout rooms, with all these features that were being asked by folks like yourself, I think we are now at a confident position that we can actually run all kinds of training programs, or long ones, short ones, with breakouts, with activity, with Jamboard for whiteboarding. So all those can actually be run quite effectively. As you can imagine, I am now coming towards the last 2 or 3 topics and also the close of time. A few things which we feel would be always important for you to take, let's say, a little bit of an engineering help from our side, but to ensure that you're using the core. Let's not forget that the core always used to be Gmail, right? It's still the application that people want to check every day in the morning. Compose time functions are essentially created according to any business logic that you would want to have for people that are sending out an email. Right, and you can imagine hundreds of use cases of it. You wanted it to be blind, carbon copied to some BCC'd to somebody. You wanted to keep something else in a record. You wanted to add filters based on a certain content criteria. So all those things which are still true and probably just needs a little bit of an engineering conversation and help, that is something that we would definitely want to ensure now that Google is making these enterprise features available in Gmail while still trying to keep the simplicity of Gmail intact. Yeah. The second piece on this side is AMP and PWA. AMP was accelerated mobile pages, PWA was progressive web apps. This was Google's open sourcing of standards as to how any app developer could probably, without trying to get apps installed, want to run only a PWA. And Google Chat now is available as a PWA. You don't need to install a client, but everybody who's familiar with probably the Flipkart PWA or something would know what I'm talking about. And AMP is accelerated mobile pages, and probably one of those strongest differentiators for people who are still keen that I love Outlook and I would stick with Outlook, is that when you come onto the browser, it allows you to actually bring out the full power of HTML5. And AMP, which is accelerated mobile pages in Gmail, allowed us to have actions inside of Gmail itself. Now, this is really, really powerful. Imagine when you are sending emails to your clients. I mean, it's just a journey. These are early days, and probably Google is launching a few examples from its own Drive space, but it should allow you to start imagining how you will have one browser tab or a few browser tabs open, and you're actually finishing all your work without really having to switch context and switch windows and jump from one tab to another. The last one, and this is probably the bravest one, which I wanted to put it out there, is the all-important chat application, and how we definitely feel that it is now ready to take on WhatsApp. This rogue app is perhaps still used very, very actively for all kinds of businesses purposes. Files are being exchanged on WhatsApp. But please remember, it's still phone number authenticated. It is never meant to do any kind of business activity on it. With small little things like being able to chat with people externally, being able to automatically disable accounts when somebody leaves your company, even getting these small little things like read receipts, which I have tried to highlight on the left side, because I think people really want to know when they send WhatsApp text, they want to know who's read it. So these are the kind of simple utilitarian features which we believe should be the one bold move that we cannot allow people to continue to have shadow IT. Shadow IT is a lot of hidden costs. Shadow IT is a lot of IT exposure, and we definitely think that we can now manage to take this head on. One last thing is, often we do not realize the platform that everything is kind of now working on is just the browser. You would have noticed a lot of improvements recently when it came to how your documents started to surface far more seamlessly when it came to if you were using something like a Chrome browser. It has always auto-completed things. It has always kind of predicted what you might be searching for. And now it's actually able to index your document sets as well very, very effortlessly. I don't think that we have ever need to do any training on it, but what we definitely wanted to do is to use this to convince people to get more and more of your data into the Google Drive, to use more and more of the native cloud applications like Docs and Sheets. And if not for anything else, just for saving your own time and having a little bit more time to yourself while everybody slogs endlessly, these kinds of small nifty features should help. With that, I'd just like to mention that yes, the acceptance is wide. We see now a lot of domains across different sectors, across IT organizations, some of the largest IT companies in India, some of the largest unicorns of India and the entire startup ecosystem. Some very, very enterprise organizations which have been here for 100 years plus. Kirloskar Group came and spoke a lot about their migration during the lockdown. So we know that companies are using it. My focus is obviously not to sell you G Suite, because I'm assuming in some capacity you're using it. My wish out of this entire session is that with Workspace, I can help in trying to ensure that every single user, every single employee of your organization, every single partner of your organization can also begin to start using Workspace. So we'll be only focused on adoption, adoption, adoption. I wanted to leave a few minutes for questions. I know that I just kind of flipped through a lot of slides. We do understand that you might have questions as to what does a G Suite to Workspace transition mean for an existing domain. Very safely put, it does not mean any kind of version update for you. It does not mean any kind of scheduled downtime for you. We are living in that happy environment, thankfully. There is no need to worry about, okay, when do things expire and when. We definitely will follow the same business rhythm that we have been following so far. And what we definitely are hoping that you will continue to be champions for both Google Workspace and Sears, and be champions for us to kind of go back into your companies, share some of these decks that we are sharing with you, talk about it a little bit, and ensure in the adoption. For anything very, very practical, anything which kind of requires renewal discussion, if some of you might be due for renewals very soon or something, we obviously are looking to ensure that apart from all this information that we are sharing, we will be having one-on-one conversations with you. Those in-depth conversations really help us to articulate what's in it for you as a very, very specific use case, and what can we invest more, what we want to probably pull some of the investments out. So with that, I'll probably stop